All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Hang 10, sponsored by A1 American. I am your host, meteorologist Brian Michigan, and we've got a fun episode today. A couple of things here in this episode. We're going back to the wave pool, and we are talking about Hurricane Erin. It has been a while since we've had a real swell in Virginia Beach, in the Outer Banks. This summer has been quiet. Spring was quiet. Last winter was quiet. So we have been really kind of just waiting for something, just anything. Now, I've been hearing it being thrown out there in lineups the past couple of weeks since the swell hit, that the swell didn't really pan out to what we were hoping for. And I personally agree, and I'll explain why coming up later in this video. I also bring in our chief meteorologist, Jeff Edmondson. He's a shredder on the bodyboard, and for him, he had a completely different experience with the swell. He really enjoyed it. So we're going to kind of go back and forth and talk about, the pros and cons of the swell, a little bit of why the swell was the way it was, because there is some meteorological factors to why Erin was so great in some spots of the East Coast and not so great in others. So we'll get to all that. But the main thing I want to get to is the wave pool. Atlantic Park, Chlorine Clash, their first contest since opening the pool back in August. And I got to go and cover it and film some of the surfers. They had a bunch of pro surfers there, and they were all shredding. And it was a really, really cool experience, packed venue. Great for the Virginia Beach surfing community. It was really cool to see, familiar faces from the lineup out there in Virginia Beach and the Outer Banks, even people coming together and watching some really awesome surfing. So I'll kind of break down a little bit. Got some notes here, the format of the event, and just so maybe if you go next time, if you maybe missed this one and you want to check it out next time, you know kind of what to expect. So there was 16 of the world's best surfers, a lot of them here recently for ECSC and then the WRV Outer Banks Pro. So they were all in town. So a lot of talent in Virginia Beach recently. Of course, it was under the lights. So it was from, I believe, 8 to 11 or 8 to 10. I can't remember exactly, but it was surfing in the dark under the lights. It was great, kind of a stadium atmosphere kind of thing. A few local standouts here's some names that you've probably heard of: Blair Barton, Michael Dunphy, and Story Martinez. 3 complete rippers from our area. You'll hear from them in just a second about, how it feels to be invited to the event and what they think this means for Virginia Beach surfing. So yeah, all of them competing in this event. Some of you have probably heard their names before, and then a bunch of other pros in town for, again, some of the other contests happening across the area. This was great. This was a great thing to be a part of and watch. It was definitely nice as someone who really enjoys surfing and kind of takes it seriously to see other people who are far better than myself just going and doing their thing and doing maneuvers that are just mind-blowing. So it was great. The contest was broken down now into 2 divisions. They had the men's division and the women's division. There was 8 male surfers, 8 female surfers, and then they divided it into male and female divisions. They would be matched up in heats of 2. Now, there was like a 30-minute warm-up period that I was able to get a lot of clips of, but also when the heat started, it was surfers of 2 facing off in a best-of-3 scenario. So the good news with the wave pool is that you could just constantly set up waves, and it's the same wave every time. So it's a very even, a very level playing field. It's very fair for all the competitors too. You don't have to worry about kind of, Mother Nature taking a break on you. So that was awesome. Otherwise, best of 3 scenario, and it was bracket format. You'll see at the end of the video here that I'm about to show, they had a little filled out board of the bracket for both the male and the female division. So it was really cool. Tons of action constantly, because again, you don't have to worry about Mother Nature not providing some surf. So that was great. And with the best of 3, the way it works is each surfer can catch 3 waves, and it's so if you win 2 of those 3, you move on to the next round. It was broken down into yellow and purple jerseys. Yeah, basically yellow versus purple in each heat. It was great. Again, it was packed. So many people there. The surf community here is a large one, but you really notice it in events like that where everybody shows up, everybody's super stoked. So it was great. Yeah. Now this was just a test run. The Atlantic Park Surf team, or the crew there, told me that this is kind of just a test run, and in the future they hope to hold more contests. So stay on the lookout for what they post on social media, especially, and I'll have it for you guys here on Hang 10. Any of the updates onto when the next contest will be. So stay tuned. Highly recommend just showing up. Even if you don't surf, it's a lot of fun to see, really talented people doing their thing. So I think it's something for everybody. So overall, great time. Thanks for Atlantic Park for having me out to shoot the event. It was great. Total success. And definitely looking forward to more of those contests in the future. So hopefully we get some soon, because it is, again, really entertaining. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get into that video breaking down all the highlights of Chlorine Clash. All right, everybody, we're going to get to this video of the highlights from Chlorine Clash. The first part of the video, you're going to hear from some of our local standouts, Blair Barton, Michael Dunphy, and Story Martinez, and what it means to them to be not only invited for the contest to surf in it, but also what they think this means for Virginia Beach surfing. So enjoy this video, and I'll see you back after that.
All right, cool. So we'll start with, essentially, how does it feel to be invited to Chlorine Clash?
Oh, it's unreal. To be able to compete in this new wave pool in my hometown, it feels pretty special just to even get the invite and be a part of this whole thing, because it's going to be pretty crazy, and it's going to, I think, shake up the whole East Coast to make them want to do more events here.
It feels so good. I'm so happy. I just can't believe I got invited. And it's so cool that it's right here in my backyard where I live.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to be invited. Just having a surf event like this in Virginia Beach is kind of the first time. So you'll have friends and family come, and they know exactly when your heat is, and they know that you're going to get a wave. Is a different experience for Virginia Beach. Doing ECSC over the years, you never know what kind of waves you're going to get. So tonight we know we're going to get waves, so no excuses.
The future of Virginia Beach surfing, how do you think that this wave pool and events like this is going to not only bring more attention to the sport, but also kind of help the future generations of surfers, kill it?
Yeah, this thing's a game changer for Virginia Beach surfing and the community. Like I was telling him, it's a huge reunion for the VB surf community. Everyone's here. It's like a shot of new life in the Virginia Beach surf culture. It's rejuvenated the whole town. Everyone's here smiling. It's pretty cool. It's pretty special for the kids too to be able to have this to practice on weekly, daily. It's a huge advantage.
Yeah, I think VB surfing just has already changed from this thing. This wave pool has changed East Coast surfing as a whole, and I think the talent out of Virginia Beach is going to be increased by so much, because it's so hard to find regular waves here. So the opportunities that it's going to give to all these kids around Virginia Beach is going to be insane, and it's going to skyrocket with skill.
The surfers are going to love it. They're going to get so much better. They're going to get a lot of more surfers. And then when the swell hits the ocean, obviously they'll go in the ocean, but most of the time it's flat here, so they'll be in the wave pool.
All right, everybody, we are back, and yeah, Chlorine Clash, complete blast. Congratulations to all the surfers, really, everybody was shredding. After this break, myself, Jeff Edmondson are going to be sitting down and talking about Hurricane Erin, giving everybody our honest thoughts on the swell and as to why the swell was the way it was. So stick around, we'll be right back after this break. What's going on, everybody? Welcome.
Hey.
We're back here, Hang 10. Thanks for sticking around after the break. Jeff is joining me because we have been talking about this in the Weather Center for how long now?
Since 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
The swell.
Because it's been the only swell since it's been the only swell we've really had in a long time.
That's true.
And it's the only swell we've had since that day. I mean, yeah, there's been some wind swell, northeast winds.
Some little wind
You've gone out a
swell.
couple of times. I haven't because I'm still waiting for the hurricane swell.
So the big question, of course, I mentioned it earlier in the show. We're talking about Hurricane Erin. There has been debate amongst many people in the lineup here locally about how good was that swell. And I think that for the most part, surfers think, because Jeff bodyboards, surfers think that this swell is pretty much a letdown. And I would think that that's true compared to other areas of the East Coast. New York, the Southeast, Florida, other places north of us, New Jersey had even a window where the wind cooperated. Not so much for us.
Storm got too close.
Got way too close.
So,
and it was also just, as it moved north, it was a really large storm. It was a big, powerful hurricane.
So first of all, no one ever wants a direct hit of a hurricane for Bermuda.
Of course not.
In terms of the geography or the distance to Hampton Roads, it's kind of a sweet spot for a storm to be in that rough position to be roughly hitting a direct hit for Bermuda, because that's just far enough away where we're going to stay out of the wind field and we still get the biggest waves. It gets a little closer, the waves are a little bigger, but we get closer to the wind field.
Yeah.
Stays farther to the ocean, we don't get as much of the surf, we usually don't get the wind. So this one got too close.
It just not even by that much.
But there was a day where it wasn't bad.
What day was there? Was one day where the storm was too far south and Hatteras actually shielded.
That was Wednesday. Before the storm arrived. But Tuesday, the storm
was really good.
Yes, that was
really good.
A good day. So
at least for Virginia Beach and like the northern Outer Banks, because I know Hatteras Island, we were looking at the cams the one day, the middle of the week. No, it was, remember that it was offshore in like 8 to 12 foot perfect.
Oh, I don't remember that.
This was
I'm not remembering that. Okay.
This was as the storm was coming up, and Virginia Beach was getting shielded by Hatteras sticking out too far.
Oh, so you're talking about Wednesday, though?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm still talking about Wednesday.
Okay, I'm talking about Tuesday.
We're
getting our days confused.
bouncing around. I guess to sum it up, the Hurricane Erin for Virginia Beach, for a lot of the Outer Banks, really, it was best when the storm was coming up. It was best.
Incoming.
The front runners of the swell, so to speak, was the best part of Erin for us.
Yes, it was.
As it got too close, it was blown out. We had size. It was just unruly conditions. Those are the best times to chase novelty waves, by the way, which essentially, if you don't know what a novelty wave is, one, definitely tune into Ben Gravy's vlogs because that guy is the king of novelty waves. But also, those are waves that you need very certain, very special, conditions to ride the wave. Maybe it's sometimes a wave that only breaks once a year or twice a year, or maybe it's like a ferry wave. In this case, there was a whole lineup out in the middle of the Rudy Inlet. In the middle of it.
In the middle of the inlet?
Middle of the inlet. So in the actual inlet itself.
Where the boats are.
Where the boats usually are. But so you know how the Croatan side has the jetty that is angled? They were essentially sitting right next to that, and the wave started off the rocks and was going into basically past the inlet. People were getting rides for like 30 seconds.
Were they in the middle of the inlet where the boats are, or were they near where the boats would go?
They were just offset because obviously the deepest part of the inlet, the wave's not going to break there. There's no sandbar.
That's still pretty crazy, though.
It was crazy, and the
I
wave
would never go in there.
There was like 40 people out. It was so
Wow.
crowded.
I wouldn't go in that spot. And that was Wednesday.
This was Wednesday. This was Thursday. This was peak of the swell. I went to
Oh, I didn't go out on Thursday.
I went to Jeanette's to cover
wind.
the storm.
Okay.
And it was 20 foot. It was
Yep.
huge.
That's
but
right.
Virginia Beach, there was that little novelty wave. It was like a head high wave in the middle of the Rudy Inlet. And people were scoring. And it was all the rippers for ECSC too. So it was cool. I saw a lot of videos. People were having a blast.
There's a lot of people, but the thing about going back to Tuesday, the day that I thought was the best was the wind was offshore.
For a period of time.
For a period of time. You got out too early.
I was out too early and also got dropped in on.
Okay, yeah.
A couple times.
I didn't get dropped in.
Two of the best waves in a row. It was.
Still a little upset about that.
I'm going to be upset about it for the rest of the time.
Yeah.
Because those are the ones that got. Those are the ones that got away. Could have made my session completely different.
Did the person that dropped in, or the people that dropped in, did they ride it or did they fall?
They were bodyboarders.
Oh, well, that's fine then.
Listen to this guy.
That's fine.
You guys hear
No,
this?
that's not acceptable. No, that's not acceptable. No, you can share a wave with a bodyboarder if you know what you're doing, and I know you know how to do that. So
Yeah.
But you got to know who the bodyboarder is, more than likely. Like if you shared away with me, I wouldn't care. Like I share away with a buddy of mine all the time. Not all, I shouldn't say all the time. We will make a pact, say, hey, let's share this one.
Right.
And it's fun to share a wave because sometimes you don't know who is in the better position until you're on the wave.
Exactly.
So it can be fun.
Really quick, we're gonna show the hurricane track. This is where the center of the storm is tracked. Obviously, the wind field, Jeff, was it 800 miles across or 900 miles across at its at its maximum width?
Yeah, it was close to 900.
I think it was. Yeah. So this is just the path of Aaron for the center of the storm. The actual tropical storm force wind field extended all the way out towards the Outer Banks. So this was a huge storm that, again, if this maybe was half the distance closer to Bermuda, we would probably be looking at maybe a little bit less size, but in our case, way better conditions.
Yep.
Way better conditions.
Yep.
So, fingers crossed we get another one this season that's a little further away, doesn't give us, a direct impact, and gives us some better conditions.
Yeah, it's just the problem was we had too much onshore wind the whole time. It just blew it out.
much.
I mean, the only reason why Tuesday was good, even though the waves weren't really here yet, they kind of were showing up. There was a thunderstorm offshore, which created a microclimate of offshore winds for a beach.
And that made the difference. I remember that day specifically, people were like, "Oh, that was great."
Yep.
And
I was out there for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I normally am not out there before work.
Jeff was
I came in
beaming.
late. Yeah. And I was like, did you go out there? I was like, yeah, I was okay. And then that's the day you got dropped in on. But I said, it was the best day I've been in months.
Yeah, I did. The first day of the swell, I caught the first street jetty really good. I had a couple waves, 3 to 4 turns from the end of the jetty out past pretty much past the inlet, the rocks.
Yep.
And all the way in. And that was like my peak. So I had high hopes.
Yeah.
And then the wind got on it, the peak of the swell, and I was like, this stinks. But that's meteorology in surfing.
Yes.
That's what makes surfing and weather so cool. Because just tiny little changes in a storm, or a little 50 miles too close to the beach, can mean the difference between pumping offshore winds and a once in a 10-year swell, which some people in the Southeast were claiming, this was like, we don't get this very often.
Thursday,
a blown out swell.
If the wind was offshore Thursday morning, that would have been probably the best of the swell.
Oh my God, it would have been 8 to 10 foot in some of the best,
out of control.
Best waves of our lives.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was a good. It was okay.
Fun.
Swell. It was a nice warm up. We'll see what we get for the rest of the season.
We hope that there's more. We definitely hope that there's more. Thanks everybody for tuning in to this week's episode of Hang 10. Jeff, thanks for coming on.
No problem.
To just kind of chat about the swell. Give it a little wrap up. But we'll see you guys next week.